out a bit.
Okay. All right. We're live. I got to fiddle around with a little bit of wood, so Blair's going to do a bit of turning,
Yeah.
and Robbo will be in and out. And look out, Sarge is in control. Uh oh.
It'll be a good night tonight.
Yeah. How you going, Doctor Bob?
How you doing?
Howdy,
G'day, Bob.
Dr. Bob. So, Blair, you didn't say what you were making.
Looks like a bowl.
Good guess.
Candy dish?
Potato chip bowl.
Potato chip bowl. Good to go.
Boy, he's got that lathe tuned well, doesn't he? Can't hardly hear a thing.
Yeah. No, Blair, from which way, Blair, which way does the grain run? Across the
That
lane.
way.
Right. Right. Good day, Lewis. How are you?
Howdy,
Right.
Lewis.
Well, before you take the sender out, do you want me to tell you what to do, or will I just sit there and shut up?
No, go ahead.
How you going,
Right.
Lewis?
Get your edge done first, all right? See where all the chips are out of it.
Right?
Get that cleaned up first. And the best way of doing that is with what I call a plunge cut, where you hold the chisel at 45 degrees to the work, down 45 degrees, and the flute facing where you're going to cut, but at 45 degrees. So rotate the chisel to the left. Right. That's, no, too far, just back a fraction. Right. And you just move straight towards the headstock.
Oh. Well,
All right, with that wing cutting. You can go across if you like, but it's far easier just to plunge in until you get the depth you want.
okay.
Give it a try. Just move your handle out a little bit towards you. No, move the handle out. Bit more. Move the handle out a bit more. 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 You want the bevel parallel with the lathe bed. Like that. That's right. Now open the flute out a little bit to 45. No, the handle's got to come round more towards you. Right. That's it. That's better. Good. Away you go. Now, if you like, you've got the edge even. Start taking out the waste in the centre now if you want to. You can take it out that way if you want to, or you can come from the outside in. That edge looks like it still needs a bit of cleaning up, does it?
Yeah,
It's
it does.
more on.
It does.
Yeah, I'd probably turn the tool rest round parallel with the bed and take a cut up from the bottom of the bowl to the top and see if you can reduce it. No, take the tool rest round a bit more, parallel with the lathe. That's it. Right. Now, take a cut from the bottom towards the top. Like that. That's it. Yep.
Sorry, guys. Try to mute it.
Yeah, Yeah, there's no trouble. I get a bit. And Lewis says he's just in for a thumbs up and say hi.
Alrighty, Lewis.
Just drop your handle a little bit, Blair. Drop your handle more. More. That's it. That's better. You should be able to tell a difference in the cut and the sound of it. Hello, there's that whistle back again.
It's got to be something in the feed.
Yeah.
Because there's a heck of an echo we've been dealing with the last night
Well,
or two.
I muted Dr. Bob and it stopped.
Okay.
We'll blame him then.
Because I went straight for my mute button as soon as it started.
Good day, JP. I got somebody else to yell at now. I'm yelling at Blair.
Hello, Jamie.
Very well, thanks.
Doing good.
Jamie?
Amy?
No, don't go that way. You'll tear the grain out, Blair. You're going the right way. It's starting to look a lot better now. No, right. It depends which way you're going. Always face the flute the direction that you're travelling. So if you're going in, that's right. If you're getting rid of that, that's fine. Now, don't come up past the centre line. Just keep going in towards the centre. Stop. No, don't pull it up the side or you just rip all the grain out. Ah, JP. Where have you gone? Where have you gone? Where have you gone? I'm looking for him. Aha.
I like you, JP. Thank you.
JP.
JP took one for the team.
Two.
Okay.
Two for the team.
So, Bravo,
Yeah.
hey, are you saying that I should be working from center out?
No, right. Right. You're making two different complete cuts there, right? Now you're working into supported grain. If you come from that ridge there and work towards the outside edge into the bottom of the cove there, there, towards the outside, you don't come past halfway, right? Because otherwise you start ripping the grain out. Now, if you come right into the centre where you've got the little hollow with the tit in the middle, you face the flute. You move the tool rest in a bit. You face the flute the direction you roll the chisel around that's it. You face the flute that way and you work in towards the centre again, alright? From there, that's it, like that. Now if you turn it round to come out to do a little bit on the outside, you've got to turn the flute around again. The flute always faces the direction you're travelling. And you go down into the bottom of the hollow and you don't come out any further than that, otherwise you rip the grain. If you do that in the centre, what you'll do is pick the upward movement of the bowl, and it'll flick the chisel out of your hands. So you just go down towards the centre. Every cut is just into the centre, whether you're going into a hollow or a valley or anything like that. So if you're coming from there and you're working towards the outside, you stop right at the bottom of the hollow. Don't come up the side. Stop there, then you take another cut. And then, excuse me, and then to do the outside, you turn the flute towards the centre and cut down the outside of it. Come to the outside ring there, on the inside, right where your finger is there. To take that out, you face the flute towards the centre of the bowl, and then you work down that edge there, and you stop when you come into the other edge, otherwise the chisel will just bog. You understand that?
I do.
Right.
Howdy, Sid.
G'day, Sid.
He says, yay. Blair's turn to be yelled at.
Geez, you're lucky, Jamie. I haven't got enough nails at the moment. No, don't come back. Always avoid coming back up that side, Blair. Whoa, 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 whoa! Do not make that cut. You only go to the base of the hollow. Never come back up from the inside out, unless you're end grain hollowing, and that's a totally different story.
Hello, Cat.
You stop there. If you want to do that side, you come around to the outside, face the flute in towards the centre, and cut down. That's right.
Eva's in. She's just wants to say hi. She's in a grumpy mood. She don't want to join and stay in. Darn night workers makes so much noise. It's like a rail gun. And she says, "Oh, Blair, that's doing the paternity."
Right, Blair. That's good. Now you can slide across the base facing the chisel the same way towards the centre if you like.
Look out.
How you doing? You got a nice top on there, Dr. Bob.
Yeah.
Poking the bear. You're poking the bear.
Let it be known they're one of the supporters of my channel.
How are you, Jamie?
All good, mate. All good. All good, mate. All good. All the better for seeing you, mate.
Thank you. No, now, Blair, to get rid of that little nib there, yeah, put your chisel in the bowl for a minute. Right. Bring the handle back towards you. Right round, 45 degrees. No, now turn the flute towards the centre of the bowl. And what you do is, as you go into that centre bit there, you lift the handle up a little bit so that the exact nose of the chisel comes in underneath that nip there, and you just slice it off. It's a very slow traverse, slow cut. Yeah, you just come in there underneath it like that. That's it. So you're right on the whole point of the chisel, and that's the only time you ever use it. Nice and slowly, nice and slowly. Slide the tool across. There, see? And you don't pull it out.
Good night, Cat. At least try to, anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got like a pile driver or something rattling her windows up there on the dam. Or the locks, I mean.
Yeah. How much you've got left in the base there, Blair?
Not a lot. Unfortunately, I had to kind of mess around with the mortise on here.
Right, you've got a mortise in there.
Or
Okay.
no, it's not. It's a tenon. The tenon is actually kind of deeper in.
Oh yeah, right. So you concave the base in.
Yeah, I can't go much further.
Right, okay. Now, this is when you can use a carbide scraper. Jamie's jumping for joy in the background. I can hear him. He's got the he's got the champagne out and the firecrackers and the streamers. This is where you can use either a flat scraper, negative rake scraper, or a carbide scraper. It doesn't matter which one. And you clean up the bottom, all right? Now make sure that your tool rest is high, so the scraper comes in just a fraction under centre when you lift the handle. You've got to have the handle higher than the blade. And work very gently. And watch out you don't hit the outside edge with the edge of the scraper. Oh no, don't touch that edge. Leave it alone. If you want to cut that off, get your gouge and do a cut. A scraper will destroy the whole bowl if you're not careful there, because it goes in as it comes out. And you'll just ruin it.
Number one Hollywood with this.
That's why you always fix the edge up first before you go on with the rest of the bowl. Now that scraper should be round further away from you when you're coming up there. Have you got a Texacolor there, please, Blair, or a Sharpie for you Americans? Right. Now get your chisel, get your Sharpie, and put a line on the scraper in the dead centre of the scraper. It's a slightly round nose scraper, is it? Now without turning the lathe on, put it into the bowl, and see that Sharpie mark. Now move it towards the outside. See how far you've got to get the handle around to keep that Sharpie marker rubbing on the outside of the bowl. That's it.
Nice, Sid. How you finding it, Sid?
So you should be starting to swing the handle now, Blair. That's it. Good. Right round. You do not want that corner edge to hit the outside edge. That's why I like elliptical or French curve shaped scrapers. And Jamie, I have to agree that for hollowing, carbides are probably the best way to go.
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt. Although they gouges do leave a cleaner cut. There's no doubt about that.
That's right. But it's hard to get a gouge when you're 12 inches down a half-inch hole.
True. So I've got I have to have a quick look. I've got the Easywood Pro hollower, Pro number 1 hollower.
Oh, yeah.
I can't remember how deep it goes.
Right. Does that edge need cleaning up, Blair, or not?
Yeah, it does. It's got chunks out of it.
Well,
Right. Well, gently use your gouge and make a slicing cut across it, right? I can't see the flute. Where's the flute? Is that improving it?
A little bit.
Right. Open the flute out just a fraction.
Yeah, it's better.
All right. It may be a timber that is going to splinter no matter what you do.
Right.
Now, get some 80 grit sandpaper on a block and try that.
What wood is it, out of curiosity?
Yeah.
It is. It's not cherry. Give me a second.
Sometimes you've just got to sand the edge because it doesn't matter what you do, the timber will just splinter.
Yeah.
Right.
Especially pine or something that's soft.
I must admit I have no trouble with pine, but 99% of my work is with pine, so...
It's poplar.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Rightio, it's soft.
Yeah.
That's what I was getting at.
Yeah.
Because I know there's times where it doesn't matter what blade I use. If I'm cutting in the pine, there's times that I get the chip outs.
Oh, yeah.
Sprays.
Yep. Is that an inertia sander, is it, Blair, or is it just a fixed head?
What's that?
Is that an inertia sander or just a fixed head?
It's just a fixed head.
Oh, very bloody fancy.
Made these a couple weeks ago, and I'll tell you what, they're freaking brilliant. These
Whoa. What's the language? What's the language?
Oh, sorry.
We're live. G'day, Chris. How are you?
Howdy, Chris.
Flippin'. How's that?
Sorry?
Flippin'. Brilliant.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, that's all right.
I said frickin', which is kind of,
Ah,
but not.
right.
But of course, with mask or helmet, it's hard to distinguish.
That's true when you got this on.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I was saying. It's hard to distinguish between the fake and the real words at times.
I think the word that Robbo thought he said was actually a term of endearment in Australia.
No, not in polite company.
Just with a bunch of mongrels like us, but
Yeah,
not
yeah.
on live.
Now, Blair, when you're using those sanders or any sanding thing, always be careful when you come off from the base, from the bottom, and you come up to the wall, because you're using the edge of the sander and it can leave big grooves in it. It's the edge of the sandpaper itself that's cutting, not the flat of it. That's the best way of sanding it like that, with a sheet and letting it curl around the actual shape.
Hello,
Oh, g'day, Scott. Jeez.
Hello, Chris.
Got a full house tonight.
Good evening.
What happened to Jay? Why am I?
He's still scratching at his big old timber with his jigsaw. Besides the fact that you're now getting lessons for tonight, at least for now. Hey, it's all good. We all get it.
Scott. Robbo's been bullying me, Scott.
No, I just give you the nail. That's all in the joint.
Do you know what I could do with a nail in the joint at the moment since the last surgeon ballsed it up. I went for a go on.
Now it'll work because you showed it to the camera, Blair. Switch the light off. Switch the light off before you put it on.
I do it both ways. This actually works it in a little bit better. So.
It shouldn't.
Family friendly.
I end up using a lot more.
Sorry?
I find I use a lot more if I do it this way rather than having to go.
Yeah, no, you shouldn't need.
Quick tip with any sort of abrasive paste: if you put on sanding sealer first, then the mineral oil won't soak into the wood. That means it goes further.
Yeah, that's why Yorkshire Grit, they recommend putting sanding sealer on first.
Yeah.
Plus you're shining the sanding sealer too. Yeah, you don't have to actually cover the whole bowl, Blair, and you only need a little bit on it, technically. No, keep using the cloth that you're using. Use the cloth that you put it on with until the lines stop moving. and you're starting to get a shine. Then you go to another section of clean cloth and start checking if the colour's coming off.
And you do it until there's no more residue coming off.
That's it. So, no, stop folding the cloth, Blair!
Bloody hell,
Yeah.
Blair.
He's just being loyal to the manufacturer. Use as much as you can. You spend more money buying product from the manufacturer so the manufacturer can get that new car next year or the bigger lathe. It's called loyalty. That's what marketing teaches.
And don't just fiddle with it. You've got to keep pressure on it.
That's what she said.
Yeah, that's right. Don't forget the bit in the middle. At the bottom. A lot of people forget about it. Right. See, everybody notice that? That the finger stopped a quarter of an inch from the inside edge? Go right into the centre, Blair.
See, there's almost nothing on it now. I mean,
Yeah.
from what I'm pulling out, and there is something in the center. It just kind of looks like there's nothing there, but there really is.
It's actually the centre that needs more attention because it's nearly stopped.
It's odd how people, when they look at a turning wheel of any kind, think of the outside as being the true RPM. Well, it is, but it's not what you think it is. It's how many inches or feet per minute it's going by you that counts.
You must have all the kids using your internet, have you, Bob?
Yeah, 3 people.
Yeah, because you're breaking up every now and again.
Ah. Well, that stops it. Well, in 13 minutes from now, because that's when it gets turned off to them. I'm a bad
Now,
guy.
now, what are you putting? What are you?
Nice.
What are you putting on there, Blair? Right. No, speed it up. Don't slow it down. Just work it in gently until there's no more lines moving on it. Good day, Mike.
Hello, Mike.
Hello, mate.
And thank you, Mike, for the mention in your thing there. Jay, Scott's backstage. Right, now, I just turn the lathe off for a few minutes and let it set and then polish it, all right?
Flash.
Universe.
Howdy, Scott.
Hey,
God,
Scott.
what a rogues gallery tonight.
How you going?
Yeah, better now that run of 6 shifts is done.
You're gonna be careful, Scott. Robbo loves a man in uniform.
This is my.
How you going, Chris and Mike?
Yeah, that's all right. Easy to fix. Hello, Effie.
Hello, Effie.
What would we turn him?
Sorry?
What would he turn him?
Poplar.
Sorry, I had to step out for a minute. My nose was just running. It's so cold out here.
I know that feeling, and it's not cold here.
Hey, we got a heat wave here in Detroit. It's 52 at night.
I wish it was that hot here.
Geez, you'll break out the speedos soon, Bob.
Yeah. It's
One
been a
can
long
wish.
time. The only problem is the dog likes to roll in the mud. This time of year, so it's like 45 minutes to give him a bath because he won't get out of the tub.
You got a frost where you are, JP?
Sorry, mate. Who said that? I didn't hear that. It sounded distant.
Have you got a frost where you are?
Was that Scott? I don't think you're on your headset, mate.
Hang on.
Did you say have I got a frost there?
Yeah.
No, mate. No. No, it was quite hot here today, but it was well, the sun was out, but it was still quite cold.
Yeah, well, it was warm when I started work. I think the ice stopped.
Ah, that's good, Blair. You remembered.
Quite cold next door. Dead bodies and all that lot.
Right, now come from the outside. Come from the outside in towards the centre now. Don't make that cut like that. And keep the bevel rubbing the whole time so you're applying force to the bowl to keep it up against the cloth. Now, watch out you don't get a little rise in the middle there by moving the chisel around that way. Don't try and slice it right off yet. You got to sand and finish it. No, Just shift your tool rest out of the way and sand it by hand without the block.
Is that Jay yawning?
I think that was my wife.
Oh.
I'm shaky.
The best thing of this is no carbides were harmed in the making of it.
Yeah, I think you're kind of lucky that it's a family-friendly show, Robbo.
You like your traditional car bikes?
Yeah. Traditional to me is what I learnt with. It's like traditional for Robbo is a couple of flints.
Oh, I don't go quite that far back. We were in the we're in the Bronze Age, you know.
We talked about that, I think, last night.
Yeah.
You know, the dinosaur and the dinosaurs moving rocks and all that stuff.
Yeah, Flintstones. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Blair, don't try and cut that off. There is an act to cutting it off, but you're likely to lose the whole bowl if you go too far.
See, if you had the really, really pointy diamond tip from Easy Wood Tools, you'd be able to slice it off easily. Just saying.
Yeah, and the bowl had become a UFO because it's got no bevel to rub on. Hey Jay, just can you put me up on full screen for a second, please?
That means he has to get up. He must be sitting down watching.
Probably, or he might have even gone in for a snack.
Right.
Now, Jamie, I don't want you to get too excited, all right?
You're going to show a carbide, ain't you?
I do own one.
Only one?
I've got quite a few hollowers that have got carbide tips in them, but I bought that one for a reason, and it does do the job for which it was thinger. Also, the other thing, I noticed you combing your beard before. I got a beard comb. I got a beard comb as well. See.
Yeah, you know what I bought today? I went out and bought a beard straightener.
Oh, right.
Some beard baubles.
It's a heated brush.
And Sarge would be really pleased about that because it's actually a wooden one done on a scroll saw.
Nice. Yeah, I got rid of my beard. All I got's my goatee.
I've got a proper carbide tool in my hand now.
Well, careful, Blair. You're likely to leave lines across it coming in on the edge. Ah, yes. Yeah.
Is that your pro?
The pro size #1 hollower.
Yeah.
8-inch reach.
I dare
Seems
say
bigger
that's
than
sexy,
you.
man. Ooh, look at
I'm
that.
too lazy. I get mine out of my
That's
shop.
how you get. That's how you
20.
get guns, mate. That is.
Yeah, I got my carbides. I have a 18 to 20 inch reach.
Have you been dyeing that beard, Jamie?
No, I don't dye it.
I swear it was more ginger last time I saw it.
Nah, it's not ginger. Loads of different colours in it.
Been putting the old Just for Men in there.
No, I've been putting Bulldog in it.
using Kiwi boot polish, that's what it is.
That's a good
I was going to say
idea.
the DS, but that...
I might put Hampshire Sheen's black embellishing wax in it.
Use the purple one, you look like Billy Connolly.
Yeah.
Right, I'm gonna pop out and go upstairs because I'm freezing my bahookie off. So I'll be back.
Yeah. All right, no worries.
Okay.
Oh, here he is.
Jay,
Hello,
it's your turn.
hello,
You're
Jay.
up.
Time to have a go at Jay, is it?
Yeah.
What do you want to talk to me for?
We don't want to talk to you. We want to have a go at you.
Bloody hell. Well, I can see you doing that. You're making lots of memes already. I've seen you got your head down. We know what having your head down means. Eh?
Yeah, if I got my head down, it means I'm editing a picture.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, don't fall asleep in a hang up.
You on your days off now, are you, Scott, or you off to work tonight?
No, I've just finished, so I've got a week off now.
Ah, very good.
Yeah, it's been a busy one tonight, so I thought I'd come in here and chill out.
Full screen, Jay. I have to put my glasses on to see you like that.
I think that's the plan. If you can't see what he's doing, you can't have a go at him.
Exactly. Yeah, I know he does that occasionally.
I bought tickets for Kevin Bloody Wilson tonight as well.
Did you?
Yeah, he's coming to Croydon on the 17th of November. With Jenny Taylor.
That's his daughter.
Is it?
She's fucking funny. Blooming funny. Blooming funny, I meant. She done a song called Supermarket Blues, I think it was called. That was really funny.
I'll have to have a look.
Oh, is it Supermarket or Grocery Shopping Blues? I can't remember what it was called. It was ages ago when I saw them. But yeah, she's really, really funny.
Yeah, someone I've always wanted to see, and then saw the poster go up in the Ashcroft.
We've all gone quiet again now.
Mm-hmm.
Wondering what Jay's up to there.
It's hypnotizing.
I'd like to see Jay make a banana bowl.
I'm kind of glad Blair came in, to be honest, because I think the safety police would have told me to take this off the lathe when they'd first seen it.
I am watching it rocking.
I had to hip and shoulder the lathe to hold it there from rocking around.
So I've actually got a video on my channel from years and years ago when I first started turning. And I started turning one-handed because it was so off-centre. One hand was holding the lathe in place and stopping it from bouncing across the other bench, and the other hand was turning.
You're lucky you didn't have rubber on those ones, eh?
Yeah, definitely.
No, I always work within the parameters of safety, and I know that sometimes when you're starting off,
I'm cracking off, that is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, wait until that jet goes past.
Oh,
Right.
the freight train.
And I've always been lucky because I've always had my lathes on decent stands because I know the forces involved. So, but
May the force be with you.
sorry, but there's times when you can't avoid it. The rotational forces just get the better of the lathe. That's all.
Sometimes you can turn past the vibration.
Yeah, it takes a game man to do that sometimes, though.
Yeah.
But we have had a ton and a half of timber come off the big lathe, and you've never seen two old fellas move so bloody quick. I tell you.
Yeah, I can imagine. So I had a MIDI lathe a while ago now. I mean, I've had the Herald a couple of years. And the bit I had on there was probably about the same sort of size as what Jay's got on there now. And I was roughing it out, and this bit of wood came flying off the lathe, and it went up in the air long enough for me to go, where did that go? And it come down and clock on me straight on the head.
Well, Chris, that's good. I knew it'd make a difference for you. Chris said he finally got the braces on his lathe stand, and it works like a different lathe now. And that's the whole thing. Bracing and ballast work wonders on lathes.
Yeah, fill it with sand. Build a box and fill it with sand.
Yeah. I'll tell you the story of my flying platter. We used to do cheese platters that were 18 inches in diameter. I'm working on this cheese platter, and we always did them on a screw chuck. For some reason, this particular one came off. Now, we normally turn them about 2,000 odd revs. So this cheese platter came off the screw chuck. It hit the roof, which is 12 feet high where it is there, left a scorch mark on it, hit the floor, bounced about 3 feet in the air again, and then took off across the road. Now, we live on a major highway. We're about probably 70, 80 feet off a service road, 12 feet for the service road, 15 feet for the median strip. Then it's a divided highway, which is 30 feet across on both sides. And it left skid marks all across the road. Missed all the cars going down the road, fortunately. Went underneath a car that was travelling on the road, over the embankment on the other side, and ended up over the other side of the road. I went looking for it and I couldn't find it. And the whole time, there's smoke coming off this thing. And anyway, about 3 or 4 weeks went past, and there was a bloke across the road that used to work on caravans and that. And he wanders over one day, and he's got this 6-inch plate of pine in his hand. He said, "Hey, this belong to you?" I said, "Oh yeah." I said, "It does." And it's burnt black right round the edges and frayed, and you know. He said, "Yeah." He said, "I was out cutting the lawn, and this bloody thing whizzed past me, and took two palings out of the fence." And he said, "I figured it must have come from your place." So he said, "I'm returning it." So it was 6 inches in diameter, and very badly scorched around the edge.
Remember now.
But that's the worst thing. Yeah, that's the worst thing that ever came off the lathe, except for the 1.5 ton log, and that was funny. That actually came off because it. We do everything between centres, of course, so it was held like that, and it had a floor in the middle, and actually it bent up like that, and it released itself out of the centres, and just flicked out of the lathe. And like I say, we switch from each end. We don't have to walk past anything to turn the lathe on and off, which is fortunate because it just climbed up over the tool rest and went floppo on the floor and flopped across the floor like a dead fish for 5 seconds or so.
Mm.
I don't have such hero and such type turn stories. The only thing I've ever had seriously come off my Powermatic was what is it, about 38-inch deep, 20-inch railroad tie. I was trying to hollow out because the person who had passed away wanted an urn out of a railroad tie because he was an old engineer back in the steam days, and he had the tie laid aside in his yard, and his wife brought it over and asked if I could turn it. And with all the creosote that was in it, I had to cut about 8 to 10 inches off each end so as I could get into wood because otherwise it was so greasy you couldn't attach anything.
Mm. Wow. I used to love the smell of creosote.
Oh, so do I. Yeah. Creosote and thinners. Man,
Yeah.
what a start to the day. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all good until you get it on your skin and it burns like the dickens,
Yeah.
especially on a hot day.
The only people that make money off of creosote workers is the people who make sandpaper because you use 40 grit and it clogs up so quick. And if you try to use a jack plane, which I did to start with, I was constantly taking the plane apart to take the creosote out from the plane blade where it was getting gooey inside the blade. And it had been sitting outside. His wife said she thinks about 50 years.
Yeah. No, well, it's
Wow.
actually banned in Australia now. They don't use creosote. They only ever use creosote on power poles where they are buried in the ground.
I've not seen creosote for years.
Yeah, it's banned over here as well.
Howdy,
Oh, is
David.
I
it?
think it is here.
Yeah, you can get a substitute Creo coat, but it ain't as
Hello, David.
good.
Oh, good day, David. How are you?
How you going, Dave?
Hi, David.
And hello to the dog.
Yeah. As Robbo would say, bloody mongrel.
Bloody mongrel.
I love listening to you Poms and Yanks trying to do our Australian accent.
It's funny you say that because when I went to America, I was on my way down to the Keys, right, and we stopped in a shop to go and buy some T-shirts, and some American lady turned around and as I was at the checkout, she turned around and she was like, "Oh, you from Australia?" And I was like, "No, I'm from England." And she went, "Oh, I'm sorry."
That's not a bad accent, though.
No.
Yeah.
My wife, Julia, spent a fair bit of time in America with her job because that's where their head office is. And she was telling me one day about how she wanted a glass of water. And the waitress couldn't understand. The waitress couldn't understand it, and the people that she was with had to translate what she was saying. You know, water, water, water. Jeez, what the hell's
Council
water?
pop. Council pop.
I don't know if you can read that, JP.
What's that?
Oh, damn, JP,
Oh.
that beard is to be jealous over now.
I know, right? It's getting there.
Yeah. Steve's still got the best beard on YouTube, I reckon. Pure white, right down his chest, you know, and a dead straight line. Looks like Moses.
Yeah. No one's going to be able to beat that for a long while.
I think
Does Vicky
ZZ
stop
Top would
kissing
be
you yet,
envious of
JP?
you.
Sorry, mate?
Has Vicky stopped kissing you yet?
No, she loves it.
I only have to have a couple of days stubble when the missus won't come near me.
Jeez,
Yeah.
if I shave mine off, my wife would divorce me. She says I got a funny. She's got a funny face. She reckons I got a funny face without it.
That's what my wife said about my goatee. She goes, "You can shave off everything else, but you got to have the goatee." Because she's never seen me except for in pictures without a goatee.
Yep.
I can't remember the last time I've ever been clean shaven. I've always taken it down to bristles with the clippers.
Hmm. Yeah, one time I come out of the bathroom, I had it down to where it was just stubble all the way around here.
Yeah.
And her and my daughter both flipped out.
The funniest thing was I had to shave it off 40 years ago to have the scars underneath it checked. That's the reason I've got a beard. I went through a windscreen when I was 16. And anyway, I knew it would be a shock to the kids because the kids had never seen me without a beard. So I had them sitting outside the bathroom while I was shaving, talking to them, and they could see me shaving it off. When I finally got it off and got all the soap off my face, they literally screamed and said, "Where's my daddy? Where's my daddy? Where's daddy gone?" They could not recognise me without the facial hair. It took them ages to convince that no, I'm right, you know.
Yeah.
But no, Julie and I came to an agreement before we were married. She's got exceptionally long hair. It goes halfway down her back, and I like long hair. So I said, right, you keep your long hair and I'll keep my beard. So that's the way we work.
Well, I lost that agreement a long time ago because she was supposed to keep her hair long, and now it's above her shoulders. So what can you do?
Get out of there.
That's what you can do. See, she's telling you.
Right.
Yeah, that's a bit of a worry, isn't it, David, where you're dictated to by a thing. I like when I was in the fire brigade, was supposed to do a BA course, breathing apparatus, and I couldn't do it because I refused to shave off my beard.
Yeah, that was one reason why in the Marine Corps you couldn't have a beard, besides just the hygiene standards. But the gas mask wouldn't seal if you had stubble or anything around here.
Yeah.
Or the breathing apparatuses or anything else.
And they tried doing that with us at the beginning of COVID. Saying everyone had to be clean shaven, and then the unions beat them.
Well, of course, unions know better than doctors. Money says so.
I was going to say, I mean, you probably get closer to wearing medical masks there, Scott, but I don't see any protection with them, with the regular ones.
No, the fluid-resistant ones I don't think are worth a wank. Excuse my French, but we've all been saying that. We're sitting in the back of trucks with COVID patients with that on.
It's mainly to stop the transmission of a spit rather than anything else, I think.
Mm.
Right, I'm going to head off, boys. I've got to be up early tomorrow.
All right then, Jamie. Thanks for calling in.
No worries, boys. I'll catch you later.
All right, Jamie.
Hello, Jamie.
Right, no
Easy.
worries.
Have a good
Bye
night.
bye.
See those men a bit
mate.
later then?
Yeah, see you later. Robbo, I expect to see you using carbides by next week.
Hell isn't freezing over and pigs aren't flying.
Alright, mate. I'll catch you later.
See ya.
Bearded one.
Yeah, well, I used to be the same, actually, Dave, when I worked for a boss, which was a long, long time ago. I never, I wasn't married then or anything, I was still an apprentice, but I couldn't, I used to come back in on holidays because I had nothing to do, so I used to come into work instead. Which the
Night,
boss
Effie.
thought was pretty good night, Effie. Which the boss thought was pretty cool.
Yeah, I did that a lot the first year when I was in Okinawa because I was over there by myself.
Yeah, well, you get bored. If you got nothing to do, you just get bored, you know. So,
Yeah.
like, I always got paid for it, so it didn't worry me.
Right. But in the military, I got paid to sit on my rump, so it was just the boredness.
Yeah.
So, Robbo, what do you think that wood looks like to you?
I've only seen it stopped a couple of times. I haven't seen the whole diameter of it yet, so I can't say. And
Almost
it
looks like a
depends.
lid to a cookie jar.
Big cookie jar.
Yeah. I would. Go on, Joe.
No, just what was going on? Did you ask Robbo about the piece
What
of
is
wood?
what it's going to be? I don't think it's going to be much, actually.
I'll just if it's a fail and shit happens, really, it's that crack that's going to be the end of it.
Whoa, jeez, I didn't see that
Yeah.
before.
I was fixing to add that.
Before the safety police tell me that it's not going to work, I've got a quarter of this in there and shitload of shavings down there, and I'm going to turn up. Okay. It's that
Well, I was
simple.
going to ask you if that was a crack, because
Yeah.
you only stop it every once in a while.
Yeah.
You got a visor on, Jay?
Yeah.
Oh, he doesn't turn without it.
Yeah, but if that went flying, the visor, I don't know how
Yeah.
much good it would be.
Let's put it this
Yeah.
way. If you'd seen how it was when I was finished with the chainsaw and jigsaw, and the way it was shaking the lathe around, he's much would have told me to take it off. But it's nice wood. So
What is it?
you've asked that.
No, I haven't.
No, nobody asked you on yours.
No, I
Before
did on
I went
Blaze.
live, they did.
Oh,
Before, I said roadside fun.
Oh, yeah.
right.
It could be, but it could be bottle brush. It's got a similar bark to that, but it's bloody hard wood.
So what were
Yeah.
you in? What were you intending to make out of it?
Yep.
Shavings.
Yeah,
That's it. You got it, Scott.
practice.
Thank you. No, it had an ant's nest inside it when I realised when I started cutting it up. I don't know. Maybe a vase, a vase, whatever you want to bloody say it.
A vase.
Balls.
For the word police.
A vase with a U.
I'd be inclined to just take it down a little bit more in diameter.
That's what I was going to do anyway. I'm going to come down to about there.
Yeah, and see how that goes.
Hey, Jay, turn that around again. Where that crack's showing? Must have been the light. Looked like something was flittering right there underneath to your pointer finger.
Yeah, it's got a loose bit of bark or something in there.
Oh, that's the little men that I've got in there pushing up on it to make sure that, holding up the mean so the crack doesn't pull apart,
No, I thought it was a larva coming up out of there, or maggot.
Yeah. No, not this one. Too bloody hard.
Right, guys, I'm going to call it a night. I need some beauty sleep.
You do.
All right, Scott.
I'll catch you all later.
Coming in.
See,
all right, Scott.
Yeah.
Take it easy.
See you, Scott.
Bye.
Nice.
I'll be back in a few minutes, Jay.
Yeah, I'm forward.
Now, Jay, you turn the scariest pieces of wood. Or I'm just a coward.
I have to admit, I probably would have split that in half and then made something smaller. But Jay is the man, the myth, the legend. He overcomes.
Yeah, on my lathe, I would have just taken and split it down the middle and then turned it 90 degrees and mounted it because I've got a 24-inch swing. Because it is beautiful wood.
It is. It's really cool.
I'm paranoid on cracked wood. That's the only time I've ever been hurt badly is hit by a crack that blew up on me. Granted,
Yeah.
it was maybe 40 years ago, but you remember stuff like that.
I had a big stump of cedar that was, maybe about like that and about that big around and, just was really odd looking, but it had a bunch of cracks because it was so odd shaped. And I thought, you know what, maybe I would do a really funky bowl or something like that, but I had to split it up. It was just too scary.
Yeah. Now I got hit with a piece that afterwards looking at it, having a couple friends of mine that were turners look at the wood and how I had it mounted, at least none of them disagreed with how I'd done it, that there was an internal ant colony that you couldn't see from the outside, at least from where we were, because it came up, through the inside of the center of the piece of wood. And I had it mounted on center, so I had it plugged the hole, but it had eaten a big piece out. And it just blew up on me and had this piece come out and hit the ceiling. And next thing I knew, I had another piece hit me in the chest, and it actually fractured the sternum. Two bones, two ribs where they attached to the sternum. And that was painful. Didn't break it, but there was a good sizable, they said fracture. But and then of course my friends always do it to you. They get me laughing, and that hurt the worst.
Oh,
That's what friends are for.
Yeah. They did everything they could. let's go have a few beers, let's go bowling, and then they'd act up, and just be hilarious and get me laughing. I have a few beers under my belt, and it would hurt so bad. And I kept saying, "Why do you do this to me?" And it was so I wouldn't do an effing prop mistake like that again. And they drilled it into me, at least the pain, and it reminded me of it.
I still got pain in my sternum, and I never turned wood, but I turned a three-wheeler over on it down a ravine.
Oh, yeah.
I don't
It's
think they
something
sell those three. I don't think they sell those three-wheelers anymore, do they? I think they've been taken off the market.
Yeah.
I think for the most part they did.
Yeah,
The
for
crazy
that reason.
three-wheeler I was driving only had one brake, and that was a foot brake. And between being surprised that my buddies were sitting in the curve in the road, nowhere to go, and being young and dumb and only having that one brake, only thing I could think of was try to avoid them. And when I did, the back wheel rolled over my four-wheeler that my buddy was driving and sent me down the hill.
Oh.
No, a lot of farm accidents out there with the early model three-wheel Yamahas that they used to have.
Mm-hmm. Looking better. That darn crack goes right up into the tennis.
Oh yeah. Yes, Mike, the Carter hollowing tools are fairly good. Bob can tell you more about them than I can.
Yeah, Carter Products out of Washington or wherever they are on the West Coast. I like their tools, the family. Uh, but it's Carter Tools. I've done design work for Carter Products, which is here in Michigan, and that's where the new axe, let's say it, but they're mostly carbide on the axe handles. Though as a beta tester, I got the original axe handle, so I now actually put my steel, all my good tools in there because I like that handle that they make with the flat back. Uh, but yeah, Carter Products, they do some pretty good tool work. But I'm a Thompson man. I always buy Thompson tools when I can. Known him for quite a few years. But for deep hollowing, Carter Product, that's what I designed and worked on their deep hollowing stuff. And all of those are carbide cutters because it's hollowing interior. Either carbide or some of the steel ones.
You can't see it there, but this little notch right here inside the wood is actually a buck inclusion.
Oh,
They just grabbed
you're
the
in
tool
trouble.
out of my hand just about. If I didn't have a tight grip on the handle, it would have ripped it out of my hand, I reckon.
So I came across another Aussie today, Turner. She's in Brisbane. Have to find her again. I don't remember what her name is.
Yeah, I think I know who you're talking about. I did a search some time ago on wood turning in Australia's keywords.
Her name is Flicks, Flicks, Wood Turning and Timber.
Yeah, I know. Yep.
Robo, are any of the clubs in Australia getting together online?
You're muted, Robo.
Robo, there you go.
Yeah, duh. Sorry, I had people talking to me as well while I'm there. Yes, there's a couple that have been having Zoom meetings, but they're strictly closed events. So they don't invite. They're not doing any They're not doing any demonstrations or anything online. It's just been strictly club meetings only.
Well, I know our club really enjoy having people from around the world as members. Uh, I started it, of course, because of people that I know and have them just jump in, and whether they are there for a few minutes or whatever, uh, because the people are curious as to what people are doing elsewhere. And the DAWG has been great. I never miss the Tuesday and Friday meetings of that. And I've got 2 or 3 of our club active in it. And then I got Cade involved, introduced him and invited him, and now he's constantly involved with them too, and our club, he's a member. Now I'm working on well, I call it a sister club. It's on the other side of the state. If you just drive straight across, you'd run into it. And it's a pretty good sized club. And they also include a lot of the little clubs that are around them for their online. And it's the Grand River Wood Turners. And now they're doing once a month meetings on a regular basis, and they've started doing the one-on-one or one-on-three training where they use their license and they pass it around between different members, the access to it, so one member can help someone else without going to their house. And they have finally, a lot of them, woken up to the fact that they have a camera. That is a phone, and it will suffice. Hold it up to your lathe. Let's see what you're doing. Because people kept thinking, I got to have a computer and I got to have wires, and I'm afraid to hook them up, and they're expensive. You got more power in that phone than most people have in their computer at home. So I'm getting the word out that people need to get together. And that's one thing I think that you, Robo, and Jay have done a lot for. Uh, Probably some of the most that I know in wood turning globally, where you can see the people that listen and drop in and just talk. Uh, because of the atmosphere that between you and Jay.
A lot of people think it's toxic.
Yeah, but everyone likes toxicity once in a while. You're always told you can't do that, you can't do that, I'll slap you, I'll spank you if you do it as a kid, and that makes you want to try it even more. That's human nature. Always test the limit. But a lot of people, I just call them old farts. It's probably not politically correct, but they just, you know, I've got them in my family that just sit there. My brother, he's a technologist. He has been for years, so he really gets into attending when he can any of the meetings. Uh, but he's so embarrassed about his wife, and it's no one knows in the family what to do with her, even the doctors.
Yeah, well, he shouldn't be embarrassed about it. It's just unfortunate the way it goes. That's all.
Yeah, and that's what everybody tells him, but you know, it's still embarrassing. So what I've told him is that we got two teenagers that game all the time, and they've always got to have a better headset. So what I've told them, as soon as the one gets his new headset, I'm packing up the one that they've got because he wants a pro, and the one he has now is all glitzy that lights up, and now he's doing Zoom stuff for gaming, and they're seeing that he's got a quote kids headset on because the kids headset cost $90. Uh, so he's back to simple black, like this one, and this is a hand me down, but that'll help because the headset would, with noise cancellation, would drop her considerably in the background. But she's got to talk out loud or she can't think. And really, I can sympathize with them, but when she was at her peak, she was a newspaper editor, wrote stories for the paper. She trained as a concert organist, and she's played some big pipe organs. And she used to be really good at it. Piano, violin, and now she doesn't even know what an organ is or a piano. Alzheimer's is a really bad thing, but not for the person that has it because they don't know that they've got Alzheimer's. It's for their loved ones.
Everyone's gone quiet. Why? Why?
We're studying to see how your piece is coming out.
Oh shit, I'm going.
What else would you do? Sit on your porch and watch the trains go by? Count the
Yeah.
number of cars?
Go like this, go like this to make them honk their horns, you know? Have your train hat on?
So what scrolling have you been doing, Sarge? We just keep seeing you lay there, and your life is summed up in a scroll saw blade and pattern.
Right. No, I haven't done anything this weekend. I've just been trying to recuperate.
10-hour days, 12-hour days.
They were 16-hour days on storm.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, we'd start about 6 o'clock and we'd eat dinner out in the field about 8 o'clock or 2000. Then by the time we made it back to the motel or to the show up or whatever, we were looking at probably 9, 10 o'clock by the time we got back there.
you have decent rooms?
They weren't too bad. First hotel was Hampton Inn. The other one was closer to a Roach Motel, but it was livable.
Uh-huh.
Better than tents,
Yeah.
which is what we stayed in tents when we came down to, or went down to Louisiana last summer for Hurricane Laura, and they weren't bad, but the AC units, they were huge, and they put them on high blast basically for uh, bacteria control and stuff like that. And there's like an ice box in them. But,
Yeah.
and then they just gave us some GI cots and some thin bedding. And I'm glad that my wife's got relatives down there that were close by, because one come by and gave me a big old comforter because it was so cold in there. It's either that or go sleep out in the truck, which I've done before.
You take your own truck?
Well, usually take our own crew trucks or utility trucks. Normal crew is a bucket truck, 2 digger trucks, and a crew truck.
You stay as a team?
Usually do, yep. Every once in a while we may have to split off and go help another crew out doing something.
Yeah, I've got good friends. They're down the street from where we live, like 4 houses, 5 houses. We're on a cul-de-sac, a very short one, 8 houses per side. And the guy's built his house here 25 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And big yard, swimming pool and all, but he is high tension.
Mm-hmm.
When he's on call, you know when he's on call because his truck's in front of the house.
Yep.
And his sons both now, he's got 3 sons. 2 of them work for the Edison. The other one wanted to be an electrical engineer, and he's in college. Come summer, he's out doing high tension with his old man. That's what the sons want to do. But there's not enough high tension to keep them busy, so they do a lot of the local high voltage stuff, neighborhood, hang new transformers.
Yep.
In fact, on the truck he brings home is, when he's on call, is actually a transformer. It's got a crane that can lift it and put it in place, along with a bucket.
All right.
And but that's all the family does, you know. And mean high tension, it's that big distribution stuff. I don't know. He just calls it high tension.
Right.
But he's the type that often gets flown in by helicopter to do work to get up high enough so you don't have to climb the towers. and his two sons that are in the field all summer, that's all they have done because they like the pay.
Yeah.
$182 an hour is what
Wow.
they get paid from the time that they step into the helicopter until they retrieve him and he hits ground again.
Yep.
When you say, I talked to him because he hosts a big barbecue every year in the neighborhood. Yeah, I asked him, I said, that's a lot of money for way up there. And I said, isn't it dangerous? And he looks at me and says, yeah, the danger is falling.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not really the fall, it's the end of the fall.
Right.
But as long as the wires, he says, the big cables are so far apart, there's no way you can get a connection between the two. It's impossible.
Right.
The biggest problem is static electricity from the helicopter. Whoa, that went flying.
Wasn't that bad, really?
Right, but
there's a gap like this in between the lathe bed and my light, and it missed the light. So, and they normally go up.
I guess you must have had pressure on it going backwards.
Yeah. It's a pretty heavy piece of wood. It looks like it's light wood, but it's actually got a decent weight to it.
But he also doubles doing the big cell towers.
Mm-hmm.
Going way up on them, or TV transmitting towers where they take them up by helicopter now, but they used to have to climb up the side of the TV towers. He does the high tower work. He calls it moonlighting, but he gets paid a lot by the stations to go change light bulbs in the towers. He was joking, and I think it was a joke, but his son says that no, he gets $1,000 a light bulb.
Wow.
And the station has to pay for the chopper to take him up and drop him off. And $1,000, and when you get up there, you change them all anyway. Now they're putting LEDs in, and once they're in, they don't go out. So.
Guys, it sounds like Tammy is home, so I'm going to step on out, and I will see you guys tomorrow.
Yeah. All right, Blair.
Thanks for coming.
Good evening.
Hey, John S. John S. just popped in.
How you going, John?
I had to read his chat before I say anything.
What?
He said, "Don't you guys ever sleep?"
No.
Well, it depends where you are in the world.
Right.
Robbo's turned away in disgust.
Nah, I think he's actually got somebody, but yeah.
Come on, what I said sounded better.
Right. It's your story, and you're sticking with it.
Jawohl. Got some really nice colours coming up in this wood, though.
Oh, it's gorgeous wood.
Greens, red.
Yeah.
Tells you a lot about the soil.
Yep. What does it tell you?
Well, the greens, at least around here, the green is usually you find copper, but Michigan is full of copper in different spots of the state. But yeah, you get northern Michigan, you'll find a lot of the green coming in the wood is copper.
Yep.
Chris says, I must have dozed off and just woke up again, so I better get to sleep. Good night, y'all.
No worries. I'm happy to be your relaxation and non-nights.
Yeah.
Some people listen to whales. Some people listen to the ocean. Well, he listens to us.
Right. Hey, Jay. About 30 minutes past that crack on the other side, is there another small crack against that edge? No, 30 minutes. Yeah, okay. 15, 20, something like that.
Well, I could say that's joined to the other crack, but I don't want to.
That's kind of what I was getting to.
Yeah.
I just don't want to see that whole side come flopping off.
That's right. We'll find out. All right.
Right.
When in doubt, then you take it off and put a tenon on it and spin it the other way, so you make a weird bowl with high wings on it.
When in doubt, spin it as fast as you can and move out of the way. You can come out now. I don't think it wants to come out.
When in doubt, get a bigger hammer.
No, I'd get in trouble, you see.
Oh, I know it.
You bloody mongrel.
Yeah, you don't want a bent punch pin.
No.
No touching the back of his head, look.
He'll have to watch it in reruns.
He will. Hey, won't you, Robbo?
What you need to do is get a piece of paper or a nice piece of flat wood and put an arrow on it. That way you can use it to point more than a finger as an arrow at him.
I need to draw a picture of his face and just draw a line where the beard needs to be cut.
Yeah.
If it doesn't work out, I'll just put some methyl on it so you can see the colours. If it does work out, you'll have to wait.
That'd still be pretty if you cut it right down the crack and mount it horizontally. And as I say, make a big winged bowl out of it, because that's gorgeous wood.
Yeah, I wish I knew what tree it was. It's nice, very nice.
Ouch.
Trying to play whack-a-moles.
Yeah, he's abusing. Yeah, you can get your anger out of people halfway around the world.
That's it. And then all I got to do is hit the monitor and you disappear.
You use the mouse and we disappear because you have control.
Oh, do you want to try that one? You can just tell me to bugger off.
You have a lot of fun every night on the web. What do you do when you're not on the web?
What do I do when I'm not on here?
Yeah.
Sleep.
I'm a professional couch potato. And I like gardening too, but that's just something I do early in the morning before it gets too hot.
Yeah, that's good. What do you grow? Vegetables,
Chilies,
flowers? Oh,
chilies and herbs.
what kind of herbs? A herb, yeah.
I
Um,
have to go for about half an hour, Joe.
all right, no worries.
I'll come back on if you're still here.
Okay,
All right.
Take
See you,
care,
Rolo.
Rolo.
See
bye.
you later, everybody.
Yeah.
Mainly,
All right. It's time to end the live.
yeah, quickly. Stop it now. Go.
No, go ahead. Sorry, Jay.
I tend to go for the more of the herbs that you get in Italian meals. Like you got two different types of thyme.
Rosemary.
No, I haven't got any of that. We've got basil, Thai basil. That's got a really nice fragrance to it. That puts a nice fragrance in food. And I've got Pequin chilies, Ghost Reaper chilies, which are now growing now that there's no rats eating them.
Was it rats or possums?
Rats?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, I've got them on the security camera.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I remember.
Let's just say they haven't come back.
Well, the next thing Jay will be doing in the morning is having a camera outside and talking to people about his herb garden and form a whole new following.
No, my subscribers will be leaving if that's the case.
You'd have a different group. You'd have people who are Italian or herb gardeners, and they would be talking about their herb garden too. And you'd have an herb garden at the bottom of the world, and you probably get a following of just herb gardening.
Do you know what I'm going to do though? When my wife and I drive over to Robbo's house, I'm going to do a couple of lives because
on the way or down there.
Nah, on the road trip lives.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I'm buying a Wi-Fi dongle. I'm not a dongle. One of those little square ones that just sits off to the side.
Like a hot spot.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, buying one of those, and so we don't thrash out Robbo's internet too much. And
oh yeah, Mike's bailing out too. Says he got an early start, so best get some sleep later.
Yep.
See you later, Mark.
Tomorrow night.
John S says get a Jack Russell.
For the rats, I think he means.
Right. I think so.
Yeah.
I was looking to see if there's anything else above it, but yeah, that'd be it.
Yeah. I think I've got rid of them with some nasty food, and they're not coming back. There's one. Sorry, there's one that comes back now, but he's no problem because he doesn't touch the chili plants, you see. So he can stay.
Yeah. So how's the temperature?
After all of that, the bit in there's just smoking because the wood's so frickin' hot, so hard rather.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna put the tool in there, bugger.
You don't want to burn the bit out; they're too expensive. You sharpen your own bits?
No, I haven't bought a diamond card yet, so I haven't. I've got a file that I'll have a rough dig at it with, but other than that, no.
Yeah, I keep mine sharp. But then again, I've shown the little card I got, the CDN card. I got two of them. One that actually is on steel, so it'll stick to my lathe magnets, and the other one, it's a hybrid metal, and it stays in my smock. Or I actually put it in the dishwasher. That cleans everything out of the card.
Okay. Different?
Well, I've used the traditional way of cleaning a card, for sharpening. The white erasers that are out there, art erasers, and that's how you clean most of it. But I just got thinking, excuse me, one day while I was loading the dishwasher, I was getting ready to go outside. I wanted to make sure everything's in there, everything ready to go. I turn it on, and I got an hour and a half for the cycle, and I'll go in my shop. And Riley goes out and lays next to the lathe to watch me. Yes, in the dishwasher. It's metal. It won't rust. It's aluminum or whatever, and it cleans all the garbage out of the card for sharpening. I simply put it in the utensil basket. Dishwasher's not hot enough.
Hello, Eva.
Hello, cat.
Hello, Monkey Butt. And Dr.
I was gonna get to your messages, but I had other things over here on my side that I had to deal with.
Dr. You
Bob
look a bit knackered. You tired?
Me?
You look tired.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hope they stop doing all that monkey butt stuff on the road over there, or demolishing the road in the middle of the night, because they got quiet because I think they made too much noise.
Yeah, there's certain places that they're, at least here in the States, that they're not allowed to do the loud stuff during certain hours, like 10 to 6 or something like that around my neck of woods.
Yeah, it is here too.
They're supposed to be quiet until 7 o'clock in the morning here in the middle of. You're not supposed to do loud work before 7 o'clock in the morning, but they get dispenses because they are doing so many years. It's the lock renovation is over 10 years of a work side, They already been audited 4 years.
Yeah.
But it haven't been this close before, so it haven't. But they haven't done so much night work either.
Well, we can work on major highways at night, and they prefer to do it.
Yeah, but that's way different, because then you have to do it out of traffic.
That's out in the country.
Yeah, but you can't do it when it's much traffic anyway. So.
Right. Hey Jay, I got a quick question for you. Do you got a long enough tenon, or is it because of that flat spot that you're having problems keeping that solid on the other side, on the headstock? Just that crack?
I think it's just a crack, to be honest.
Okay, I'm just asking.
And also, it could be the length as well.
Mm-hmm. Because I know you've been having a hard time getting that fool to stick in there.
Yeah, it looks a bit wobbly.
It's very hard wood.
Well, the crack itself is not between the teeth, not between the gaps in the jaw, I hope.
I think it is, because it goes into that tenon when he was working it earlier.
It goes in the tenon, but if you're going to do that, you want the whole jaw to cover the crack.
Oh, yeah,
completely.
Right. Yeah, instead of in the spaces.
Yeah, not in the space.
Gotcha. kind of to squeeze it together too.
Yes, it helps hold it together.
Yeah, I got you now. Even though I haven't turned anything yet, I've still learned quite a bit watching Jay and listening to Robo and watching Blair and Chris and everybody else turning stuff on here.
Yeah, but Sid did a good job last night with breaking up pieces. Just broke apart.
Yeah, yeah. Well, he broke two, and then he finally was able to get the third one to come out right. He had that rice bowl, that double
Yeah.
bowled rice bowl.
It's a lot of crack in that word. One of them is, doesn't it go fairly deep into the middle, the thinner one?
Yeah, yeah, but he's got a lot of super glue and
Okay, it's
resin
already
or
glued.
whatever down inside of it, he says.
I forgot to say hello to John S. in the channel. Well, no, I wrote hi at least. Oh, noise, more noise. I'm so tired of noises. Oops.
Hey Jay, get away from that edge. I bet. I bet you that's what Robo would say. Especially that
Yep.
spot there. I bet you it's that crack over there next to you, catching you. The other one, well, that too, but the one straight across from there, I bet you it's catching you too.
Yeah, what it's
And
doing is it's catching here and
Uh,
landing there.
yeah.
It's going badoosh, badoosh.
So maybe you'll just have to leave that edge or work it first and then start hollowing it.
Mm.
I'm just throwing out stuff. I mean, between what he told Blair earlier and stuff like that.
I understand.
Did it turn out well?
Yeah, Blair's turned.
Is that as low as your tool rest goes, Jay?
Yes.
Do you have another tool rest, or is that the only one that came with the lathe?
That's Robo's, I think.
That's the one that Robbo made me. I'll go get my original one.
We'll get your
It's
Harbor
a little
Freight
lower.
one.
You're a little above center with that. That's all I'm concerned with.
Oh, I think
with
I'm
a
gonna go
round
to
cutter,
bed,
if you're
guys.
above center, it can cause you to twist the tool because they put them on round bars. They don't put a flat on it.
All right, just for Eva, I'll put it on me.
Yeah, but I'm really tired, so I think I'm gonna go to bed. Actually,
All right, Kat.
it was
Thanks
a
for
short
coming
one.
in.
Have fun, guys. See you
All right,
tomorrow
you too.
or something.
Yep.
Nighty night.
Night night.
Good night. You notice it's cutting better.
Oh yeah.
With a round cutter, round stock in the tool itself being round, it's nice because you can vary the angle of the cutter.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, if you're above center, it can catch it just rotating if there's a flaw in the wood, and it catch a piece of the cutter, a round cutter on a round bar, and just snap it out of your hands. Or you're gripping it hard, and then it'll chatter because it's
John,
actually you're holding it, but it'll vibrate in your hand.
Right. John S., you off to
Whereas,
bed too? Or you saying night to Eva?
no, to her.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, 11:15. let's see. I got one kid. I'm almost sure is sleeping because everything in his room is off, including the lights. But I don't know what's happening with his voice assistant in his room. There's no way of monitoring. It's there and it's hooked up and I see it, but
Right.
he's got, for Christmas this year, we got him all the tech stuff for his room. Lights overhead. The only thing I have to make sure, and I keep forgetting to bring in the duct tape to duct tape the switch on the wall.
Right.
And he named them 1 and 2, so he just has to tell the assistant to change light or change 1 to blue or orange, change 2 to what he wants, or do it from his cell phone because it's got an app where he can dial the color up and the intensities, but he can also tell the assistant a little dimmer. But he can't do that if someone by force of habit, of which I've drilled into him since he was born, and it seems turn the lights off when you leave a room.
Mm-hmm.
That's back when lights cost money to run.
Yeah.
But I have gone to CFLs when they were big. I put them everywhere and to save money, and then we went and now I've got LED everywhere.
Right. I've got to start changing out some of my switches because everybody in this house leaves them on. I got one started now, motion detected, and you could set it different tolerances or, ooh, well, that spot's still catching you. Jay, is there any way you could fill that crack with some more epoxy or super glue or whatever? Would that smooth it out?
Well, the other way you might help too is that the fastest it'll turn? Are you
No,
on the
it's
highest
on
speed?
It's halfway up in speed.
Because it's the interval of that crack coming around catching your tool cutter. And if you're pushing hard, if you're spinning it faster,
I'm going slow. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm just pushing very gently on it.
Yeah, but it's still catching. You have to think of it. Even though if it's a millisecond, if you double the speed, it'll be half that. So it'll kind of ignore the crack.
Yeah,
you follow?
I might. Yeah, I get where you're coming from. I haven't got any super glue left, and I don't get paid. I don't get money till tomorrow. So.
Okay, I'm just throwing out ideas.
Yeah. Well, you could finish it tomorrow.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Feed your rat.
I've just gone over the 2-hour mark, so I might knock it on the head. I just I'll stick a bit of metho on it so you can have a look at the color.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, but increasing speed with a crack. Have I done it? Yes. Because scientifically, you have less time because it's spinning so fast. And if you're cutting it, it tends to skip over it to hide it. Because I do interrupted cutting often because I enjoy doing stuff like that. But the other thing is if you catch it and it's a bad catch, it's either snap the tool out of your hand or throw the wood.
Right. It was going in the direction of trying to rip it out of my hand, that's for sure.
Oh yeah. I've seen.
Yeah. Well, that's where you need a smaller cutter. Then you don't have a different cutter, I'm sure.
No.
I just wish there was a way I could reach out and hand them to you because I've got tons of this stuff because companies send it to me to play with over the years.
I don't know if you've seen the message that I put in the group chat, Bob, but I've found a courier company here that will deliver to your house. I'm just waiting for them to give me a quote on a price.
Oh, that'd be expensive.
Oh, only one way to find out.
You don't have the money, don't bother.
At least inquire and get a price. Go from there.
Yeah, if you want to put your address up, I've got stuff. I'll check to see what it would take to ship some of the stuff that's just collecting dust in my drawers.
All right, I'll put it in the private chat. Just trying to get you a better view. Just
well, if you send it Facebook chat, no one will see it. Just send it directly to me, not in the group.
Yeah.
And basically, the city, but a postal code if you have it, because most carriers, their computers use those anymore.
Yeah. Not too bad.
That's a beautiful piece, that's for sure.
Oh yeah. That's where epoxy. Oh, you put a blue epoxy in there. Resin.
Yep.
That would be gorgeous. Fill it with blue epoxy and maybe throw some sparkles in it and fill it. You ever do any of big epoxy fill?
Not really.
Need to get you some of the A and B bottles, and you can mix it up in a plastic cup. But to do that, you'd have to make cribbing on each end.
Yeah, I've got clear sheets of plastic for that. The flexible pieces.
Yeah, I use big stir sticks, and I simply use a hot glue gun, and stick them on. I've got one now underneath my lathe that about every week or two, I pour a different color epoxy in.
Yep.
But in the winter, it's hard to do because I don't bring my stuff in the house. The dog would bother it, and that's just not acceptable where I live to bring stuff like that in.
Yeah.
So I do in my room and hide it, but
don't let the dog find it.
But that would be gorgeous. And I'm playing with some stuff now with mini LEDs. I'm just waiting on a better soldering iron. After years, mine it's too hot, and it's melting the wire. Because these LED lights, the wiring in it is so small.
Yeah.
And I need a smaller iron that comes to a point that'll melt the solder. So I'm just waiting on it to come. But I'm actually burying some LEDs in the epoxy. Then the battery, it will be in the bottom of the turning. And it's going to be a vase.
Are you going to make it?
Similar to that. That's why I got thinking of it, except that this one is, I forget the name of it. It's a pine, where all the branches come out equally in rings straight out all the way around.
Yep.
It is a gorgeous piece of wood that I was given, and I just trying to think what to do with it, and then it split on me. So I said, "Oh, it's God's wood. God split it. There's got to be a reason." And I just kept staring at it, and sometimes it's hard to figure out what the reason is. And then it dawned on me because I saw someone pouring in a log epoxy, and I said, "That's it." And then order the epoxy and the different colors for it, and I've never used it before. And I got looking at it, and then I said, well, it's got to be different. So I got these mini LED light bulbs that flicker, the phony candle bulbs.
Yep.
There's a whole
Yep.
circuit in that little bulb.
Yep.
That make it flicker and make it look like it's not just turning on and off, it flickers.
Yes.
And I bought a bunch of them from a dollar store. I think they were like 6 for $1. So I took them apart to figure out how they work, and be darned, that's what I'm going to fill that with, and the rest with some clear epoxy resin on top, and that's what I've been playing with. Now it's warmed up enough that I don't have to worry about the problem of everything frozen in my shop.
Yes. Well, that wasn't much. I thought there was a lot more there than that. So I separated the A and B when I squirted it out so I could mix a bit of colour into one of them.
Ah, okay. I was wondering.
Yeah.
You don't get it in a bottle?
Well,
it's like JB Weld's style that he's got, just the 2-part epoxy.
Yeah, I know. The bottles I thought would be cheaper.
This was just the hardware store that I go to doesn't really have a great selection. They've got it in these tubes or the liter by the liter, so you don't get much of a choice when it comes to size or anything.
Yeah,
no idea.
In that case, the epoxy you're getting is made for repairs. Well, I guess what you're doing is a repair, but
kind of it. Yeah, nowhere near enough. Yeah, doesn't matter. Go and buy some more tomorrow.
I was going to say take a heat gun, it would drip in there, but you don't need it. You got the sun.
Yeah, not keen on the heat gun and resin.
It pretty much just kind of takes the bubbles out of it, and
oh yeah, I know what it does, but I'm just not keen on it.
Oh, yeah.
Have you tried it, or is it just
No.
You don't have a heat gun?
I've got a heat gun. I just couldn't be bothered getting it.
Because that'll help, at least here, unless it's midsummer, it helps it run down into the crack better.
Yep. Sawdust. Darn it, I had a good container of that, so I wonder if I can't run find it. There you go, it's gone now. See you later.
Yep. I hear the dog whining at the door.
Yep, mine are about ready for treats to go out to their house.
But he needs to just go fertilize a plant or something.
Right.
And I'll go to bed, and his collar gives him away, but he hasn't figured that out. But I'll lay in bed and read for a while or listen to some old time radio stuff. But right now, I'm following some of the early Lone Rangers that were in the 1930s on the radio.
Right.
Jay Silverheels, which I knew as a kid. My dad went to school with him.
Right.
And I'm listening to those because they're online with my voice assistant. There's almost every radio program that was ever on. They have them in, people collect them in libraries. And they're bringing back some memories. And they're half-hour radio show, and they even include the commercials, which are fun to listen to the old commercials. You could get the last one, there was a cereal, and how great the cereal was, and the jingle that went with it. And I heard that, and that brought back memories that I didn't even know I had anymore, being a kid, listening to it with the radio on the shelf in the kitchen. You know, when I was really little, that whole picture just flashed back listening to the jingle because I used to sing it as a kid and try to think about when it was aired and what I was doing. Uh, but the picture of being in the kitchen, I know where that happened. I know the house it was in, my grandmother's house. And it was during the summer while I was staying there. Because my mother was pregnant, and it was like any day to go to the hospital type thing. So I stayed with grandma,
Mm-hmm.
my brother and I. And it's interesting, just an old program I haven't heard since I was probably at that age, I would have been 9. I hadn't heard it since. And the whole picture of sitting in her kitchen eating, and it just instantly came back. And I had forgotten about it for probably 60 years, 65 years. And that's spooky. It just proves, I think, that what a lot of shrinks say and researchers, yet your brain remembers everything. And it's interesting that a chemical computer, of which is your brain, can totally store all that data in, what is it, 3.2 pounds, the average brain,
Right.
and go back that far. Because the cereal they were advertising and the toy that was in it and the trading card that went with it. My brother got the toys and I kept trading cards. Well, if I don't let him out, I'm going to have to mop the floor. It's my fault. During the day, well, the kids are off at school now 4 days a week. They have computer school at home on Wednesdays. That's when they go through and respray the schools.
Oh, yeah.
For disinfectant and all.
Yep.
So clean the desks and do a thorough cleaning. They can't afford the air handling system, though they did put different filters in, but that was a big deal in the school.
Yep.
But they got to take them out and clean them, and that's done on Wednesdays to re-sanitize the special filters on the roof. And it is nice not having teenagers around during the day. And I understand why they have to go back. Boy, do I understand. It's because they'd be sitting with a Zoom meeting in class, working on work online with their teachers, because it's set up here, or they each got laptops from the school that was connected to the school, to the school service, so the teacher could give you a test, and those test results because of the software, they were spying on that whole computer. So you had 10 questions and you had to write maybe a paragraph, and every student did, but the teacher had that at her fingertips at home on her computer. So she could switch between each student to see how they were answering the questions. And I thought that was pretty good. Watch 30 kids at home.
Yeah, that's good. As long as they're getting paid the same.
I've been watching you.
But now they're in school so they can interact, because the thing is, when they're doing it from home, they got another computer going, usually their own gaming computer, and now they're playing with their friends who are in the same classes often, and they're playing a game on the side, yet the teacher doesn't know they're playing. I did, and I was the SOB that turned that computer off when they were playing games.
I'm gonna end the live now.
Well, yep, we'll see you tomorrow night. Thanks for sharing. Don't forget